Okay.
And Dimitri, when it's your time, just come right back behind here so everybody can see you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're gonna walk through on the new build?
Okay. We're good.
You're worth seeing, I'm not. Okay, let me. Okay, so I've got to remember, see who she was working for. She has to sell, and there was an offer on the property with contingencies. And now she's having all kinds of issues because the lender for the buyer is awful. They can't sell the house. That buyer cannot sell the house. And of course, buying her listing is contingent upon them selling the house. So they can't sell the house for whatever reason. And the deal's probably going to go south. And one of the things that from experience that I want guys to know, or that I would suggest, is if you have a contingent offer where you have a listing, where you actually have the listing, and the offer from the buyer has contingencies, one of the things I would recommend you do is talk to the agent of that buyer to make sure you know everything about the transaction that you probably could know. So one of the things you can do is if your offer or the acceptance or to remove the contingencies is subject to the sale of their home, find out if it's priced right to begin with. Because if it's priced too high, that contingency will never be met and your seller will never sell the home to them and you're going to lose time. Does that make sense? Am I explaining it so you can understand it? So make sure to have a conversation with the agent, and we're going to talk about conversation with the agent just a little bit today, to make sure that their buyer has everything in place, has the right lender with the right lending program. That can happen by you having a conversation with the lender to make sure that buyer is fully qualified, okay? And second of all, have the conversation with that agent about, tell me about the home, and ask for a CMA. Ask for a CMA of the home that is contingent upon them buying your seller's property, because you don't know how they have it priced. So what I have done and recommend you do is you have a conversation with that agent for the buyer and ask them if they can provide you as much information about the buyer as possible. Okay, so you know if the house is priced right. So you can say to your client, hey, we're good. If you accept this offer, I've talked to the agent and I verified that the house is priced right, that it's being marketed right, that the lender is in place. So you have the best possible chance for your client, if they accept the contingent offer, that you know everything you can about that client as to whether it's good or not. So making a call to the other agent is hugely important to do. And again, ask for a CMA, ask them for a CMA. You probably want to do one as well. Ask them about the lender, ask them as much as you can about the buyer and about how the property is being marketed. I asked, could you send me before before I present this to my seller, can you send me a CMA and can you send me the marketing plan for the home that they have to sell in order for you to buy ours? And that's not too much to ask, but I can tell you, nobody does that. Realtors do not do that. And you have every right to do that before you accept an offer. Okay. All right. So that's one thing. Next thing I want to mention, just so you know, one of my pet peeves has been how exit is represented when you're talking to people about exit and who exit is and so forth. One of my pet peeves are the numbers. So just for the fun of it, does anybody know how many offices exit has in North America? What would you guess?
350.
How many?
350.
Okay, 350. What would you guess, Kim? I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I guess 450. That was my guess.
500.
How many?
500.
500. How many? Was anything represented to you when you came to exit? About how many offices there were?
Offices, I think there's like 80,000 Asians.
80,000 agents, okay. How many agents do you think Exit has?
Oh,
Michael thinks 80,000.
That's what I was told.
That's all right, you might have been told that.
Okay.
Because it's all over the board, and as I said, it's my pet peeve, it pisses me off, really. Because we're being misrepresented by people who don't know, and I gotta tell you, getting the numbers has been very difficult. For the last, I've been doing Exit for the last 15 years, and yesterday was the first time that I think I really got the correct numbers.
Wasn't it 80, like a year or two ago? I mean,
80,000?
I heard 80 when I got it.
Okay. What would you guess, Todd, just being around the business and being,
Well, when I first was around here, it was 70, so it's grown to 80,000, it seems like.
okay,
So what is that, like an average, maybe an average of 30
okay,
per office on average, so.
30 agents per office, okay,
8,000 divided by 3, so roughly 3K.
okay. Well, here's the actual numbers that you should be using. The number of agents is 22,660. That's the number of total agents.
Really?
Yeah, 22,600, and I can't read my writing. I think it's 600. We'll just round it, 22,600. There are 625 offices,
In the US or US and Canada?
Canada, both.
Okay.
And so these numbers came to me yesterday directly from Erica, the COO for the company. So, okay, just wanted to mention it because I think it's important when we talk to people about recruiting, coming to our company. I think we need to know what our company is and what it isn't. And so that's the numbers.
That's good enough. We're about 60,000 people on.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's important to know your numbers, whatever that number might be. So one other thing I just want to touch on is Michael. I just want to congratulate Michael in front of you, his peers. Michael went out and did a FSBO, his first FSBO yesterday. Have any of you done FSBOs before? No? Okay, well, it might be something you look into. Michael did the thing where he made the calls. He found some FSBOs. He made the phone calls to several. Which call was it that you had success on booking the appointment?
I think it's actually my first call.
Your first call.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good statistic right there. He made one call and had an appointment from his call. So I would encourage you, if you guys are looking for business, there is business out there in lots of different ways, but one of the ways are FSBOs, for sale by owners. And there's an approach to take with them that I would suggest. There's lots of approaches agents take where they will put the pressure on FSBOs to list their property with them. You're the #1 realtor in the world and whatever it might be. It's not the approach I would use, but Michael did go out on the appointment yesterday. And unfortunately, the person had already decided to list his property with somebody else. Is that that's
Yeah, it was he was trying to sell it before he had to list it. And do
Yeah.
repairs and stuff.
so it was kind of a hurry up. Didn't tell Michael this. Hurry up. I'm going to list with somebody else, but if you have a buyer, bring your buyer, and yeah, you can come and look at my home. So how nervous were you? How bad was it?
Wasn't that bad. It was
Pretty easy. Yeah.
It was pretty easy.
Just a phone call. We talked about the script, pretty simple script to say on the phone call.
I was nervous to make the call for sure, but once I
Yeah.
met the guy and everything, it went just fine.
Yeah, and so it went well. And so Michael's still not done because the guy hasn't put it in the MLS yet. And so there's still value Michael can offer to him to try to get the listing, try to show that he has more tools than the other agent, which we don't know who it is, and so forth. So I just want to congratulate you in front of everybody, because I know it's hard picking up the phone to do that. So let's just talk a little bit about this presentation. Yeah, that's on the screen. So let me try to bring this down just a little bit. Okay. This is a Tom Ferry presentation. You guys know that I'm totally into Tom Ferry's tools and so forth. So we're going to talk about the ultimate offer acceptance and a couple other things. You've got the notes, And the whole point of this is you want to be able to get your buyer's offer accepted. Okay, it's always a big hurdle. So here are 5 questions to ask the listing agent. So I just talked to you about one of the agents in here, how she should have talked to the agent working for the buyer. Conversations with other agents are hugely important, and it's something that real estate agents do not do. I don't know why, but it's like we're scared to call other agents to talk to them. And it should be a people thing. It should be a communication thing where things aren't done with fax years ago, by email, by text, by whatever. Communicating with the other agent is just important. I believe that the agent in our office who didn't have the conversation with that buyer's agent, if she would have had the conversation, I think she wouldn't have been in turmoil when I talked to her yesterday, because the whole deal is going to blow up. It's just going to blow up because all of this stuff just came. There's 1 day left, in order to get this thing done, and it probably won't get done. So when you talk to a listing agent, always call before you show a property. I know we have showing time and other tools. I think it's just an excuse or gives you a reason not to call the listing agent. And I know listing agents are busy, or they think they're busy, and they're doing showing time to simplify their life so they don't have to talk to you or talk to anybody, right? I mean, that's why you got showing time. So the appointment's set up. But here's some questions that you should ask to every property that you show, that you have for your clients. 1, is it just the highest price that's important to your client, the seller client? You'll be amazed what agents will tell you, because sometimes they're not fully thinking, or they don't have the mental capacity to think. And they'll tell you things that will help you write the right offer. I've had it happen where I've said, is it about the price of the property? And if some agents will say, well, I can't discuss if my seller would accept less than the listing price. But what I can tell you is, man, they really need to get this thing sold, because they want to move to Columbia, Missouri. It's got to get done. Well, I've just found out that they're motivated to sell, and probably under pressure. That agent just gave it away. That's going to help you help your client. So if you can imagine, when you go to talk to your client and you say, I did talk to the other agent about the property, and here are the things I heard. I heard that there might be some reason that seller needs to sell it for less. So let's look at the property. Let's make sure it's the right property for you, but go in knowing that maybe we have an edge that other agents who don't talk to other agents don't have. That's a selling point for you guys, that you actually have a conversation and you can tell your client, one of the tools that I provide you is communication and negotiation tools with real estate agents. And I believe it will help you get a better price, a better piece of property, and the property of your dreams. Because I'm open to communication, I'm open to negotiation, and I think I do it better than anybody. I mean, that's what I say. I think I do it better than anybody. And here's why. I actually pick up the phone. I talk to the other agent because I'm trying to get information about the property. And sometimes they'll give you information that they shouldn't have said that. That agent shouldn't have said what they shouldn't have told me that. I had one agent, actually was a principal broker. That's what brokers are called in Oregon, was a principal broker. When I called him about his listed property, he told me exactly what his client would accept. And when he told me, it was like, did he really just tell me the number that was, a lot less than the listing price? He just gave up all of that for his client. And if the client knew it, I wanted to shout from the rooftops what this guy did to the client. I can't, but he just gave that price. And when he said it, I know it's illegal. It's illegal to divulge that unless your client gives you permission. He didn't have permission. He says, let me tell you something. An offer came in from so-and-so. And you know so-and-so, right, Jim? Yeah, I know. yeah, I really don't like that guy. And I don't want him to get this. If this is what he actually told me, I don't want him to get this piece of property. So listen, why don't you offer this? And I know you'll get the property if you offer this. I'm thinking, he didn't just tell me that. And that's exactly what we did. And we got the property. That's not a conversation you want to have with people. So, is it wanting the property to go to caring owners? Do you think that matters to some sellers, that it goes to the right people?
Some of them.
Just be very careful that you don't violate fair housing discrimination rules.
Yeah, it can't be about any of race, color, origin, religion. It can't be any of that.
7 different.
Yeah, the 7 naughty things. No, one that I had, I couldn't even believe it. I was working, I actually did a presentation, an offer presentation in person. I've got a couple of stories about that, but this particular one, I asked the agent, can I present the offer in person to the seller? And she said, well, why do you want to do that? I said, well, I want to tell this agent, I want to make sure everything about my buyer that my buyer thinks is important is communicated to the seller. She goes, well, nobody does that. Why do you want to do that? I said, well, that's why.
Used to do it.
Yeah. Well, we used to do it when we had time to do it before the last few years, where it's just offers as fast as you possibly can. So this is something to fall back upon and go back to. And so she says, well, okay, be at the house at 6 o'clock, I guess, because I'm going to meet him to present whatever it was, 4 other offers. And she goes, how's it work? And I go, well, I'll just come in. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm just going to present the offer and make sure that my client's offer is presented in the way that I want to make sure the seller understands everything. Okay, so I went in, did the offer. It was a young kid that was living in the property. His father had bought the property for him. So I'm thinking, I'm presenting to this young kid, probably 25, 26 years old. He's not going to care anything about my client. He's not going to care. I'm sure he just wants to get the most money for that property, tell his dad what he got, so everything is hunky-dory, between them. He was moving back to going to another town. And so I presented the offer to him. I got a call from that agent. This has happened on several occasions later that night. And she said he accepted your offer. And the reason he accepted your offer was that you told him how important that garden was in the backyard to your seller. And one of the reasons, or your buyer, one of the reasons your buyer wanted the property is because of all of the landscaping he did and the beautiful flowers and vegetables and all that stuff that he had in the backyard. Something I didn't think that a 25-year-old would care about, but he put it in. He did it by hand. And the reason he sold to that person for less money than the other offers was because he wanted somebody to have it who loved the property as much as he did. So that's important to know. I think it's important to ask that agent, is it about caring owners? They might say, listen, they don't care. They just need to get the highest price as quickly as possible. That could be, and of course, you'll find out exactly where you're at. Is closing the deal as fast as possible important? Is having a place to live for the sellers between them finding their next place? Is it having a place for them to live? Is it something they're worried about on the property? Is there something? So look at these 5 questions and put it into your head to use these. I think just us being in this room today and hearing this may get you some transactions that you wouldn't have gotten. It did for me. I know it will, because you're going to have an advantage from other agents who never hear this or don't take the time to hear it. Be prepared. No seller today is willing to wait around for buyers to get their act together. So make sure that you are prepared and you have your stuff together. So making your offer stand out. There's lots of ways to make your offer stand out, but quickly close if the deal, if time is of importance to the seller. These are all things in the conversation you should have with your buyer, and your buyer in your buyer presentation that you do. Remove addendums and contingencies on the deal if at all possible. Make sure your client knows that adding addendums and contingencies actually makes the offer harder to negotiate for you. Free rent back for a limited amount of time. I'm not into that, but this is a Tom Ferry thing. Buyer covers taxes on the deal. Buyer covers broker fees on the deal. Buyer covers moving fees for the seller. Buyer covers title fees for closing the deal. And sending a letter telling the seller about your client and their hopes and dreams for the home. Emotion sells, but you have to be careful with that, okay? It's outlawed in Oregon. We could not do that in Oregon.
I didn't think we could do love letters anymore.
You can do them, but
You have to.
you're setting your client up for discrimination suit.
Unless you word it properly, that it won't. But I can tell you, just from my experience, I'm not your broker, so this is just my experience, that love letters can sell. And you can write them in a way that I think it can get around being sued, but that Paul is your broker, so Paul is the person to listen to.
Well, I got a love letter on the property we sold. And ended up going. Another person made that decision, but, so I know that they're there, but. I also know that we've been told, be very careful.
Be very careful. Be very careful, okay? And like I
In
said,
a multiple offer environment that's as competitive as it is, let's face it, if you get 6 offers on a property, you're gonna have 5 people that are disappointed. And it's when they're disappointed that they're looking for excuses for why they didn't win. And even though they didn't offer the highest price, perhaps they'll find some other reason to blame you or blame it.
they're looking for something, because they're angry.
And there are professionals that know how to game the system also with the recovery fund. There are people that have multiple claims against the recovery fund. They do it intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful.
Yeah, I would say my recommendation is that if you have a love letter, make sure Paul sees it. Okay,
I don't personally accept them just for whatever it's worth. I didn't say that as a company, but at my own, I won't accept them. I just tell people I don't want them.
yeah, don't include it, because if you include it, you're already halfway down the road of getting sued. Okay. And then this has some example scripts. And this is a way to ladder up your buyer's price point. So if you want to discover your buyer's price point, the real number, what it is, this is a way to discover it. And you can read this. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because just for time, but this is just something where you would say to the client, play along with me. What price would you like to offer today? Or what price are we going to offer on the property today? And if it's $460, so if you found out that the home sold for $465, would you have paid that amount? I always say, listen, we're going to offer $460. If you found out you didn't get the offer, and it turns out when we're able to disclose what it sold for, that it was $5,000 difference, would that have an effect on the way you're going to sleep that night when you find it out? You know, how important is, think about why you're selling the property, where you're going, and how selling your property is going to help you get to where you're going. So think about that. So this whole thing that you read will give you at least a script for how you can ladder people up to make the very best offer. I think we'll be getting into the area where people are going to be making lower than list offers at this point, right?
It's already happening.
Yeah. Right. And so it's not what it was 6 months or a year ago where things were just crazy. Now we're getting back into the world where you actually have to practice real estate. You have to practice negotiation. It's just not being an order taker. So here's ways that you can make it an easy yes, if it's possible for your clients. Waiving contingencies, a pre-offer accepted inspection. When I sold my house in Bend, for instance, I don't know how much you've used this, Paul. I'd be curious to know. Do you do a lot of pre-inspections on listings that you do?
On a handful, I always recommend it.
Yeah, And, but in the world where things were flying off the shelf, why would you do that? I mean, because people just want your property and they don't care, they have little care about this type of thing. But now that we're back in the real world, pre-offer accepted inspection. So when I sold my property, not only was I able to show all the buyers the inspection, but I had a 3-year warranty left on my property. So they saw the inspection and I had a warranty in place that lasted it just expired just last month. So the person that bought my property knew if they bought mine, that they were protected. It was 2.5 years. For 2.5 years, because my warranty was transferable.
Jim, the discussion that I have with clients goes along these lines. I said, you're about to sell a $400,000 property, and if you're not a general contractor, if you're not a knowledgeable HVAC person, if you're not a knowledgeable roofer, you're not a foundation expert, you may not even know aspects of the condition of your house, and you've lived here for the past 5 years. I said, if you put on a seller's disclosure that your knowledge of certain things, it still doesn't mean that can't be challenged if down the road the air conditioner dies 2 weeks later or whatever. I said, however, if you have an inspection done by a licensed professional, you at least have a seller's disclosure and you've done an inspection. I view it as a $400 insurance policy that could potentially save you thousands in litigation. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And most people, when they hear that, say, let's do it.
Let's just do it. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay. Cash ready to close, paying the seller's taxes. The buyer consultation, save this and use it. If you don't know how to do a buyer's consultation, I would recommend before you load up somebody in your car or meet them at a property, first of all, you want to make sure that they've got a loan. They're going to be able, they're pre-qualified, they can get the funds. But this is an introduction, kind of everything that you should think about when you're doing that presentation, to ask the right kind of questions and to know how they feel. For instance, one of them, the first one is, tell me, what are your experiences with buying or selling properties? Did you ever work with another realtor? And find out, well, tell me, how was that experience for you? You will hear all kinds of things, but it gives you the ability to know what the trigger points are for that person that you don't want to do, right? You can learn what ticked them off about the last realtor, and they'll tell you. They'll be very open about it. Well, you know what? We had a terrible experience. That's kind of why we're here today, talking to you, Jim. We want to make sure you're the right realtor for us. The last realtor never returned our calls. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. So when you hear all the bad, it helps you be better. Okay. So ask them if it was pleasant, and it's not to dump on anybody. It's not to say, oh yeah, I know that agent is worthless. It's not going to happen so much here because it's such a big area, but in a small area where I was, 120,000 people, everybody knew everybody. So I never trashed the agent. I didn't have to. They did it for me. So I didn't jump on the bandwagon. Present necessary materials, a packet, folder with information sheet, resume. Anybody have a resume? You should have one. You should have a resume that helps you stand out. There won't be other realtors that have a packet with a resume in it. It'll just make you stand out. And people want to know about those things that you would put in a resume. If you have military service, there are people who want to know that and will choose to use you because you're a veteran. There's people that will choose you because you ski and they ski. So you want to have a bio and a resume. Of course, a lead-based paint disclosure. And then discussing financing, the needs and wants. Here's some things for you to ask. And it's really important to know the names of their children, to know the hobbies of their kids, even if you can get the birthdays, the celebrations, because when you're working with people, there are times where a listing might not sell right away. It might be 3 months down the road. When you get 3 or 4 months down the road, things start I start itching all over because I know my client wants the property sold. And I don't want them to think I'm not doing the right things, even though I know I am. But I want to do as much as I can to be on their side. I want to acknowledge their dog that won the blue ribbon at the dog show, or their kids that got a ribbon for playing basketball, whatever it might be.
And when you did your listening presentations, you shared with everybody that you had a process and a timeline, and these are all the different things that you did at each stage. It just occurred to me, if you did the same thing with a buyer's presentation, you would accomplish two things. Number one, you would give them a deeper understanding of the scope of services and why you're the right person and the relative timeframes that things should happen. The other thing you do is you would put up a really good initial block against a fiectomy down the road where they want part of your commission or something, because all of a sudden now they realize, wait a minute, you're not just loading me in the car and taking me around and showing me houses, you're doing all these things. And when we get to this point, we have the home inspected. By the way, here's an example of, we have linear roofing on call to inspect the roof if there's a down. We have this HVAC company. We do these things all the way through the whole process. And maybe we should think about developing that as a company and be a unique selling point. We have a buyer's timeline and scope of services.
Yeah.
After we do the marketing plan, you can take the same thing just like you did. And
Yeah.
I mean, each one of us has, our people that we work with or whatever, and just put it in there. And this is what I've got. I mean, my sister-in-law said the same thing. Every time I call her, I had an insurance guy and this, and she's like, what else do you have? I'm like, what else do we need? We don't need anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't have it written down.
Yeah, just, the preferred vendor thing that you can go through. And, we've got people in the room who can help you with that.
All right, Kim, you're in charge of the committee to get it done. I'll work on the committee. and help you.
All right, thanks.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll do it.
All right, okay. And then one last thing that I just want to show you. Oh, God, it's not there. Again, it's not going to be here. I posted or will post today on our site, on our Facebook page, our private Facebook page, the latest Keeping Current Matters document. How many of you are using Keeping Current Matters stuff? Does anybody have a subscription to it?
I accidentally subscribed to it again. Which one are you talking about?
Well, it's the one that costs like $24 a month or $34 a month.
Which one are you talking about? Which post?
Oh, it's one about equity that people have gained over the last few years. Okay, so pay attention to our Facebook page, our private Facebook page. I know that a lot of agents in our office, most, probably just about all, there's with a few exceptions, very few, just don't comment on anything that we put up there. One of the things I think you can do is to comment on things that are there and to look at some of the information that we put on there, because it's put there. I try not to put too much, but I go a little crazy. It's there to add value for your learning and what you can do.
I do.
They're
I
all.
mean, I like them,
Uh-huh,
but
absolutely. I told Paul, keep
just
going.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. There was a nugget. This is just a nugget of things that might help you be different from other realtors.
Well, everybody
That's-
takes away different things from, just like in my thing today. Preparing for that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So Kim, do you want to go or should we have Demetrius cut? What?
You can go.
Okay, I won't be long.
Well, you take us.
Okay.
Okay, let me pull. I think you went away, so I got to bring you back. It's right here. Okay, so you want to stand here so everybody can see your beautiful face. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys, as we had a brief introduction earlier, my name is Demetrius Ford. I'm an elite senior supervisor at Linear Roofing and General Contractors. There's a lot of key things that I'm going to get to that Mr. Paul and Mr. Jim had kind of noted on that could benefit you guys wholeheartedly, especially when it comes down to the entire packet, as Kim was saying, when it comes down to, initiating and making sure your clients and everybody is, the peace of mind is there when it comes down to the whole buying situation, right? Even with the things make ready quick, turnkey. I've been working with Boo directly for the last two and a half years. Whenever it comes down to properties and things he needs done, turnkey, roofing and general construction matters. With saying that, I've been this guy that get things done. My whole motto is GSD, if you can put it together. Instead of the T is as get shit done. All right. I'm here to make I'm here to make things much easier for you guys with the process as far as professionalism and handling business and helping you guys when it comes down to, even with the urgency of, having properties ready and making a sale for you guys. So of course, introduction here, like I said, it's just a one of a kind experience as far as changing the industry. Of course, we know in the general construction industry, it's a lot of bad apples, and the roofing industry too. It's the wild, wild west out here in Texas when it comes down to roofing matters. A lot of people that I would say that are unqualified in different companies, they get away with it, right? Because it's not litigated, it's not managed well. You don't have to have a license to do roofs in the state of Texas. You guys can go print out shirts right now and be like, hey, I do roofing, and you can go sling roofs on, right? You can go find different crews, day laborers, and get things done. It may not be the best quality, but you guys can get it done, right? All right, so let me go into this thing. First things first, I want to say I appreciate you guys for actually having me here today, being able to present to you guys. Let me get the screen all adjusted right so we can get it one by one. All right. Who are we at Linear Roofing and General Contractors? We are a one-stop shop. Our mission at Linear is to show you just how straightforward roofing can be. A lot of people try to make it seem complicated just so they can have the power of control when it comes down to handling issues and stuff. But I am here to be blatantly honest with you. It's not that difficult. It's pretty simple. You can make everything done turnkey. Highly dependable crews, of course, when it comes down to roof replacement and repair and maintenance for both low slope and steep slope structures, whether you're a property management dealing with a variety of properties or commercial building owner with one large project, Linear, we're here to assist you guys, right? We can take on the workload. We average about 300 to 400 roof replacements a month. All right. Me personally, I'm pushing about on the good months, I'm pushing about 7 to 10 roofs a month, right? So having the workload, having the manufacturing material, connections and things like that, we do enough volume, so we have a lot of connects that a lot of roofing companies don't have. We just expanded with private equity back. We're equity back now. Q2 investment partners. Now we've expanded, licensed, and insured over 15 different states. All right, so we're not just in Texas anymore. We're over the United States now. We're starting to try to do some international works to be worldwide as well. Just a little bit slow with that material shipments and things like that. Just kind of slowing us down. But as far as the works that we're doing, we're moving forward and beyond changing the industry. Like I said, as far as kind of trying to be the Amazon of the industry when it comes to roofing and general contracting. And once back, just to hit back over again with the licensing, just the qualifications. No, you do not have to have a license, but only 1% of roofer and general contractor companies in the state of Texas are licensed. We fall into that slim percentile. You can look this stuff up on rcat.com. They'll show you, and you can search each individual roofing company, and they'll show you who carries the license. It's one thing to carry. All right, 4% of roofing contractor companies carry in Texas. Only 1% are actually active. You pay for those things, all right? So just to go back, I'm gonna show you these symbols on the card. If you look on my business cards you guys got in front of you, I'm gonna give you one right here, Mr. Jim. I want to go over these symbols and the reason why we put these symbols on the face front of our card. All right, so the top two here, as you see on the screen, is our GAF Master Elite certifications. We do have Certainteed as well. These are the two biggest manufacturing brands that you will see on any roofing system in the state of Texas, whether that be residential or commercial buildings. All right, we've done enough volume as well as different roofing systems in those two big manufacturing companies that they awarded us with these certificates and these master elite installer applicators as far as being trustworthy, honest, and know what we're doing, pretty much needless to say. We're double bonded and double insured, meaning that I'm insured on the property as a project manager. We have a $2 million in umbrella insurance policy with all our crews and all our guys, and each one of our crew members are insured and licensed as well. So all check boxes are checked off when it comes down to accountability and trustworthy measures of knowing that you guys got the right guys handling all your properties, right? And I want to go down to this green symbol here. This is our clay tile certification certificate. We are certified to do clay tile jobs, those nice, have oval shape. Those are really difficult to install. You even got to know how to walk on top of those roofs. You got to know what you're doing, right? We're licensed and certified to do those as well. So from the cheapest roofing system all the way up to the most difficult, we have the guys, we have the license, we have the certifications to install those systems. All right. Another association that I want to hit on, as well as the RCAT, what I mentioned that actually shows that we carry our license, is the NTRCA, North Texas Roofer Contractor Association. These two associations, the RCAT and NTRCA, they do the vetting for us. All right. They hold us accountable for us doing no cookie cutter jobs. All right. All the way down to the re-roofing, all the way down to the felt, the nail dry speed. These associations we pay to be in, to put us on the forefront as far as showcasing whenever it comes down to our work. We want you to audit our work. We want you to stop buying unmarked trucks and cars and look at it as OSHA, HOAs, NTRCA, RCAT. We want all eyes on us because we know how great of works that we actually do. All right. We are not the same. This is one of our biggest mottos right now. Like I said, just being a change in the industry, doing things different. Our number one thing is always do your best. Do your best at everything that you do, whether it's a small job, a big house, small house, or whatever it may be. Every roof needs love. Every job needs love, right? I'm an ex-football player. I think of every roof job that I do like a new game, right? I'm preparing. The insurance process that I'm taking everyone through, getting preparation for the job, making sure all mitigation preparedness measures are hit when it comes down to making sure everyone's priorities are taken care of, especially when it comes to the homeowners, right? You need to make sure that you got everything in the pot when it comes down to making sure that everything is done the right way. And like I said, I treat it like football. So that is my film study leading up to the game. Every game is a new game. Every house is a new house, right? So everyone's priorities is a little bit different. Like he was saying earlier, you got to get to know people. You got to get to know what they want, their needs. And that is my big thing when it comes down to handling jobs. A lot of people and roofers try to, take over everything. Like, hey, let me get your money. And then I'll do your roof and do everything my way and leave you out of it. Every step is hit with every homeowner that I walk through, right? So it's nothing goes on the back burners for us not being seen. I am here to educate. I'm here to give awareness off for every homeowner, property owner, whatever it may be. I want to teach you more so than just doing works for you. So God forbid if I'm never available, right? You guys have these nuggets and these gems that you know how to go about and what to look for in the future, right?
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the HOAs require before you re-roof a house that you submit what you're going to do. What's your experience and what you're seeing the degree of that submittal? Do you actually have to have permittable plans, or is it more of a description of material? What's that like? What's our responsibilities as agents?
We always, so with the jobs that we do, we actually go above and beyond to take our responsibility measures off you, so we get the city permits automatically. Okay. Whether we need a permit or not, we're pulling permits, because God forbid we get those construction work started and the city pulls up in the truck and makes us stop. It's embarrassing. We've experienced it before. It's an embarrassing thing. Then you got to explain to the property owners like what's going on, and it makes us look unprofessional as we didn't take the right steps as far as moving forward with the job. So when it comes down to the make readies and getting everything for the job, we do it all.
But the HOA submittal is different than
Yep, it's a little bit serious. The cities is permit, HOAs is more so what kind of shingle are you using, what color are you going with? Okay. It's that simple. So a lot of HOAs in Texas, or for my experience, you have to go with a architecture shingle, an asphalt shingle, right? Most are limited composite 30-year shingles. Those are your 3 dimensionals, right? And you got to either go with a neutral color. It's either the grays, what you people call weatherwood, or you go with blacks. So that's what I'm seeing most of the time in these HOA strict neighborhoods. It's more so neutral colors. Yep.
And then one other general question, I know, particularly as insurance rates have gone up, it seems like if you go to a class 4 roof, you get a big discount on insurance. Have you guys ever calculated how much payback it is? So if one were gonna put a regular roof on versus the class 4, you know, the difference in the cost versus how long the money you might save on insurance to pay for it?
Yes, sir, just to see if you're even breaking even or even saving, right? I always encourage my homeowners that I work with to sit down with their agent on that matter. Regardless, say if a storm happened in this zip code right here specifically, premium rates are gonna go up, whether you get a new roof or not. A lot of homeowners don't know that. So it's in your best interest, whether you're getting the same roofing system or upgraded roofing system, to get it replaced, because to your insurance company, you become less of a liability, right? Of showing that you got that roofing system upgraded. So your premium rates are going to always take a deduction, whether you get an upgraded roof or even just a new roof, the same roofing system, period. So, but with the upgraded roofs, you do get a bigger discount because, like I said, if you go to impact resistant, hell comes again. The insurance company is hoping that it's not that big to deflect. So if you invest money out, they're going to give you money back, right, as far as lower rates. But as far as the calculations, that'll be with your agent.
Yeah, I had heard it could be as much as a 20 to 25%.
You're right.
The other thing I learned the other day was, because again, I had no idea, but I always thought that class 4 meant it was like a more sturdy material. It's actually a softer shingle because it can take the hit and then it bounces back.
Exactly, it's more rubber based.
Yeah.
You take a class 3 and below shingle, regular asphalt shingle, and you roll it, it creases the granulars, which is their first layer, and you see it all kind of roll off, the little beads, and we've all seen it. But if you take a class 4, it's more asphalt, rubber based, kind of like tires. You roll it up, it'll unroll. No granulars, because the granulars are much smaller and tighter. And like you said, it's double matted with the rubber base. So you throw a golf ball against it, it'll bounce right off it a little bit easier. Yep. Another thing that I like to stand ground on as far as reliability and responsibility, right? It's 2023. I don't understand why it's hard to get people to even do simple follow-ups and be very great on communication, right? You got to be reliable. You got to be responsible. No one want to work with anyone that aren't those two, just straight up, right? You got to have someone that you trust. You got to have people that you know they're going to do the right job, whether you're there or not, right? So that's another thing. And then discipline and perseverance. Find a way. My biggest thing with homeowners, a lot of people will walk away from deals like, hey, I can't help you if you don't have X amount of funds. But I'm here to tell you today, working with me personally, I'm going to find a way, right? And that just comes from GC experience as far as learning how to actually handle insurance claims, right? Claim specialists.
How do you, and I'm sorry, I'm bombarding you with the question.
Oh, no, keep going.
This is good for everybody. So we run into situations where houses have solar panels on them, and then they need a new roof. And maybe it's whether it's a lease or own system. How do we deal with that? What do you recommend?
Insurance pays. All right, get a storm date out when it comes down to the removal and replacing back onto the solar panels. The insurance actually has to warrant for its replacement with that. If that roof has hail damage or any kind of storm related damage, that's enough to warrant a replacement. The solar panels go in as well. And we have a third party that we use in-house, right? We have linear solar division. So you guys need a removal and replace, and as well as doing a roof, you can get it all done in-house with the same company.
And do they normally remove them and put new ones on, or is it possible to salvage them and then reinstall?
If they're damaged, they can be salvaged. Yep, they can be salvaged. But we've had a little bit of storms December in Rockwall area. The solar panels got busted, and whenever the solar panels get busted, yes, the insurance has to pay for all new solar panels for those people. Yeah.
And as a roofer, because I asked this to a solar company, I might get a different answer, but Does it damage or do you risk the integrity of your roof when you allow solar panels to be placed on it?
No, sir. So whenever you put in the solar panels on a roofing system, you're actually drilling through the rafters.
Okay.
All right, and everything is sealed properly, so you don't have any kind of leaks. So, and that's what your warranty and insurance plays goes into as well. Any kind of works that we do, we insure it and we warranty it, right? Because hey, things happen, and if things happen, that's our works that we touch. We come out and fix the problem for free, and all the damages that it occurred.
I'm asking some of these because I know the answers, but I'm doing really.
Yep. Just to let them know.
So you go out to a project and you look at the roof and the shingles from the ground don't look too bad, but you see this big, long, darker coloration flowing down one part of the
Yes,
roof.
sir.
What is that and what does that tell you, if anything?
That is called algae. All right. We have algae resistant shingles now, which is Certainteed and GAF, the two that we recommend that revamped their product of January 2020. All right, to make these shingles algae resistant, because it is an ugly sight. But that's also an indication to me that that roofing system is at least 12 plus years old, right? Whenever you get those discoloration of those algae marks, that means that roof's been there for a while and it's suffered many of the different storms. And then I start to look at the different components, the pipe jacks and things like that, to see if the paint's faded. That way I'm knocking on their door and I'm like, hey, have you had a licensed professional give you a free property evaluation, right? Hey, I see the algae on your roofs is at least 10 plus years old. Have you had it looked at to see if you can get a new one replaced by insurance company? I'll run on hail recon. All you got to do is have a storm date, half inch of hail within a year, and you can get that roof replaced by the insurance company. Yep. That's the main indication that the roofing system is outdated. It's the algae marks.
Where does the algae cause from?
Just weathering conditions. Some is actually condensation from your drain pipes from your plumbing. You on some houses in the fascia, the soffit, I mean, and then some houses just loops out wherever they may happen to run that drain pipe. Some of it comes from that, especially the ones that rust, the real dark rust. But the algae just comes from weather. Yep, just rain, Texas heat beating on that shingle, rain absorbing it, drying out quick, ice and snow now. You get what I'm saying? So it's just over time, just weathering.
If the homeowner has a insulation barrier underneath the roof,
Yes, sir.
whether it be the
Radiant barrier,
radiant barrier or the spray
foam.
What implications does that have with the re-roof job? Does it get damaged? Does that have to be replaced or fixed?
Yep, that's why we always tear all the way down to the decking. A lot of roofing companies try to cut prices. You'll see them felt over felt. They'll leave the old felt on and they'll put a new felt on and then put the shingles on. We remove all felt because you never know. I've had a house that I worked on just last week. It was 2 years old built, right? And it had water damage decking. Never knew that they had leaks or anything. It can happen. And especially with builders building these homes a little bit cheaper now. So you get what I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? Like, we just got to be honest here. So whenever it comes down to a re-roofing job, guess who has to take upon all the responsibilities? It's us, because we're touching the last. So whenever we do jobs, the quality measures that we take, tear all the way off the decking, insurance doesn't pay for that initially on that initial estimate, right? But that's why your project managers there taking pictures. We replace that decking on site. We order extra decking due to whatever decking they already have. We're game planning before, like I said, even a material order. So if you do have radiant barrier decking and it's water damage, once we tear all the felt off, we replace it on site. We saw it, take pictures, and we invoice the insurance company, not the homeowner. It's called supplementation, and they give that to us on the back end.
That includes your spray and foaming too?
Yep. Whatever you need to do. It's a lot of things that property owners miss out on because they don't have someone that's knowledgeable in the game. You miss out on a lot of value and equity put back into that property.
I know Demetrius's company just redid the roof of my next door neighbor. And not only were they able to get a new roof, they replaced all the gutters, the downspouts, the porte-cochere, and got the fence painted. And these guys didn't even know they needed a new roof. So I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, it always looks good from the ground. From curb appeal, all roofs look good unless you got algae on them, right? It's even surprised me sometimes. I'm like, man, that roofs look good. Like even with me being in the industry so long, and I get up there and it's just completely different. So what you're seeing on the screen right there is a textbook hail strike. You can't really see that stuff from the ground unless it's just waylaid, you know? Question?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I lived up in Little Elm, Aubrey area. And
Mhm.
I had
Oh yeah,
four
you
roofs
got slammed.
here.
Yeah.
But the last time the insurance, the roofer guy said I needed a roof and the insurance said no.
Hmm.
Have you dealt with that?
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk about denials. It happens. Hey, Allstate State Farm. Allstate State Farm. They always tell you stay away from the two biggest. Why? Because they got money. They don't care about dropping you or denying your policies, right?
So don't go with State Farm.
Allstate State Farm, I encourage you to stay away from them. Yes, they may have the better policies because they have volume. They can give it to you at a cheaper rate.
Well, like State Farm's great for auto.
Mm-hmm. But for I don't know. I just had a homeowner with a State Farm auto whenever the hell happened out in Rockwall, and they didn't treat them ethically at all. So you just kind of got to shop for. Sometimes some people get lucky and some people get burnt. But the two main insurance companies that burn people out here are the biggest ones. You just got to make it make sense. As a business owner, you got a quota. Say if you're an insurance owner, carrier, you got a quota of $5 million in total loss that you can give out. All right, you already hit month 3. You're already sitting at $4 million of storms already collected at the beginning of the year, not even making it through hell season. What are they going to train their staff adjusters to go out and do? Hey, we're close to that line. Let's start denying. I've had adjusters show up and not even get on top of the roof. And hey, how you doing getting out the truck? It's like, just to let you know, I'm denying this roof right now, but without even looking at it. Right?
So them, or can you say the top 3 homeowner insurance companies that you like to work with?
I like to work with Farmers, Travelers, and USAA.
I've had good experience with those as well.
Yep.
I use Travelers personally.
Mm-hmm. Those are the
They're
ones.
progressive right now.
Yep.
It's a checkup, but
Yep. So every insurance company does have those times where they will try to play games, but as those are the 3 most consistent ethical ones that I've dealt with. All right. Now then you got the big ones, the private ones. Texas Farm Bureau right here in the state is really good. They come out. I've seen some where I'm just like, man, I don't know if this roof's going to get approved by one of my people, and I'm like, Texas Farm Bureau is like, hey, we're going to pay them out. We're going to take care of them. So they treat their people at home good. Chubb, bigger ones like Chubb and Branch, things like that, more private, bigger money ones, they do really well at paying homeowners out when it comes down to, taking care of your needs. So, but denials can always be fault, right? You get denied the first time. Some insurance companies like Allstate State Farm, they think the homeowner just like, well, I trust my insurance. My insurance said it didn't have any damage. I'm good, right? But then you got those homeowners like, hey, I sent you a report. You see the damages. Let's go back and file for a reinspect. And hey, we can even threaten them like, hey, if you don't serve me ethical as job, do the right thing. I've seen all my neighbors get roof replaced. You're telling me that I don't have the same damage that they have, and magically I had a bubble over my property? You get what I'm saying?
said because on my last house, my roof was so steep
Mm-hmm.
that it slid off.
That it
It
slid
didn't
off.
get a damage. Is that a true statement?
Sometimes yes, but
Okay.
with most hailstorms, with hail comes wind, right? That's where the velocity comes. So whenever you got hail, you got high wind speeds, and no matter how steep it is or not, it's gonna get hit. You just any dispersed or granular activity, whether it's small or that big, it is in the Hager's Near Handbook, it is qualified as hail. Granular disbursement is hail damage. And if you have 6 to 8 hail strikes and a 10 by 10 test score that's pretty big on each slope of your roof, at least 3 slopes, that warrants a full replacement on your policy. Yeah.
Can you address wood rot? Because many of these homes, the sides, particularly the composition roof, they'll have areas of the roof or the chimney that are hardy board, wood trim, and inevitably, if the roof's 10 years old, there's wood rot up there too. You guys address that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have, like I said, we're a one-stop shop. You guys need new chimney stacks built and things like that reconstructed. I actually did one on Your family. It's Alexis's brother. Yeah, Eric. Yeah, Eric. I redid his whole chimney stack because he had that issue. Right. So whenever insurance came out, even though his chimney wood was a little bit outdated and rotted, when the hail came, it had some hail hits through it. Got insurance to actually put that into the pricing, and I built him a whole reconstructed new chimney stack. So it's times where, hey, sometimes you do hit grand slams. And sometimes, you know, those things are still can be done, but you may have to pay just a little bit out of pocket. Yeah. Ready? Of course, going to about me. Like I said again, I'm an elite project manager at Linear Roofing and General Contractor. Providing the best services and products in Texas. My goal is to educate homeowners, right? As I said before, on how to benefit from the insurance companies in regards to getting their homes restored back to pre-storm condition, from the roofs, gutters, downspouts, windows, etc. It's anything on that property is warrant for replacement whenever you file an insurance claims for us homeowners.
You also do repairs?
Yes, sir. Yep, we do repairs as well. I like to tell homeowners, just to make it simple and clear, if your dog was out the night of the incident and I can prove it, I can get you a new dog. Right? anything that's on your property that I can prove that got struck by hail, insurance warrants you a replacement. Personal property as well. Pools, we've gotten pools all resealing, the brick, the mortar has been chipped off. Insurance pays for that as well. Pool equipment, anything, grills, grill tops, flower pots, kids trampolines, I've seen it all, right? Anything that owners on the property has damaged by the storms, insurance companies would never tell you due to them saving money by not giving you what you deserve, right? And of course, here's I actually got featured in a Frisco magazine because I sponsored Alexis kids, the football team.
We were a sponsor for several years.
Yeah. So that's the page that they put in for us, a brochure in the magazine. So just a couple of things about me. Then of course you see my campaign page on Facebook. It's called Your Favorite Roofer. I know you spoke about the videos earlier. I do that every week, every day, almost every day. I'm posting videos for property owners like, hey, this is what to look out for. Hey, what about this scenario? Like all these questions and things that people ask, it's on there, guaranteed. Just scroll through. I'll drop nuggets, I'll drop gems all the time for property owners. A lot of things that people won't want to tell you because it holds such a good value as far as knowing. It's all on there. And then it got all my projects and stuff on there as well.
I mean, you're saying every time we get an inspection report, it always says granular loss of shingles.
Mm-hmm.
Can you address when that becomes a problem? Is there any rule of thumb or anything we should know about that?
Yes, sir. So you don't want to accumulate too much granular loss, right? Because if you got too much granular loss and if a hailstorm does happen to hit and you need a new roof, how can you tell the difference between granular loss for wear and tear rather than the actual hail strikes hitting that shingle, right? Dispersing those granulars. So a lot of people try to wait and bang out the roof. I'm like, hey, well, we have another storm on wave to a couple more storms. But if you get too much of that stuff, insurance is going to come out. The adjuster's going to look on the roof and be like, I don't see it. It's just granular loss. It's a whole bunch of wear and tear. I can't see any hail. And they 9 times out of 10 win those. And then that's when we have to kind of get engineers and things involved like that. And you don't want to go that route because it's almost take up to 6 months. Because then you go into litigation and things like that, appraisal. You don't want to get bounded in those kind of things because it'll take forever. Yeah. But granular loss, that's why I always encourage people to get their properties inspected every 60 to 90 days, especially being in Texas. Because with the excruciating heats over the summer, then of course the harsh weather events that we get beginning of the year, it affects that shingle. I don't care if you had hail or not, that shingle is getting damaged. That's why roofs don't last. The average life span for roofs in the state of Texas is 3 to 5 years. That's why the business is so lucrative. Yep.
So I was talking to another roofer last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a client, it was gonna be a big house or whatever. He said, literally, I'll just wait till the end of the storms. And so go back to what you said. you have that person that wants to wait till the end of the storm, so what would you say to them instead?
I'm like, hey, I understand you want to wait to the end of the storm, but truly, what is your reasoning? Because you wait till the end of the storm, then the end of the storm happens, and you're just gonna keep procrastinating. You're gonna tell me again, well, I'm gonna wait till the next hailstorm, right? It's just forever going, and you're missing out on all this, like, especially if your roof's already affected. I'm like, hey, well, why wait? Because if you're accruing more damages, it's still gonna be the same payout. Okay, if your windows get busted and things like that, they can say that it's old hail. You can tell the difference between old hail and new hail. New hail is a darker asphalt tar exposure. Old hail is faded, and if it's older, it's just not in your best benefit just to keep waiting, right? Yeah, and especially with your premium rates. So you're telling me you're on the insurance side now? You're paying all this money. You're paying all this money to them and complain about your insurance, but you don't want to get your money back from them. It just doesn't make sense, right? You got to make it make sense. So you're telling me that you're going to give your insurance company grace by waiting, but they don't wait for you every month to get your premium payments, right? So why not get it, especially while it's there? That's why you pay your premium, so you can get all these funds accumulated back. Hey, but I've had a roof that I replaced. I did the same roof in 4 weeks. It was Keller Fort Worth. I replaced his roof, and the hailstorm came 3 weeks later. I replaced it again.
So how does that work in insurance? Because then they're gonna come back and say, I have another 1% deductible or whatever.
Yep. So the things like that, GC matters when it comes down to that. You can legally put those prices in to the point where you don't have to come anything out of pocket. So with reoccurring customers like that, that's we take care of them.
So you got 2 roofs out of pocket?
Yep.
Didn't they make a law about that?
September 1st, 2019. Roofing company. Yep. You can't legally, you can't pay a homeowner's deductible. But GC matters wise, like I said, the more things I can find damage on your property, that is your money that I'm getting accumulated. You can use it however you want to. And that's why everything has to be communicated, especially when it comes down to those numbers. Third-party system we use called Xactimate. But that's the same software system that they use to come up with those estimates, fair market value, right? So if they try to cut you short, we take the whole estimate and revise it and get it correct, updated, especially with COVID. Prices go up and change every month, right? It's harder. So we got to make sure that we have the right tools, to make sure that we're not getting cut short, neither the homeowners for its value and equity. Yep.
How is the company structured in terms of, so does everybody here call you specifically?
Yes, sir. I'll be the POC. That's why I gave you guys my cards and everything specifically. Everyone is a 1099 separate underneath Linear.
Okay.
Right. So I'll be y'all's guy specifically. So whenever you guys do need these inspections done, quick turnkey, you be like, hey D, got this address. When can you get out there? I'll be like, I can get out there today. I'll be like, hey, I'll get out there tomorrow morning.
What's your
Right.
radius?
The radius, I go everywhere. I did a job all the way out in Yantis. Boosting me all the way out to Yantis.
I don't even know where that is.
That's where yeah. That's where the lake house is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about like
Fort.
Yeah, it was a drive. It was a 2-hour drive from where I'm at.
Fishing next time.
I already told him he owes me. Yeah, so I'm not limited, man. We even got crew. We got an office out in Lubbock. We got San Antonio, Austin now too.
I live near Bowie.
Okay. Yep. So man, anywhere I can drive to, I'm gonna go handle you guys. And like I said, with what Paul was saying earlier, it'll benefit you guys. Like, hey, let's get a system where, hey, you need an inspection done on that house, on that property, just to make sure everything's good. I'll give detailed reports, PDF files I send directly to you guys. Whatever property you need, pictures, explaining every picture underneath it, and I also put this together formal with our licensing, insurance policy, everything. So you can just forward that over to the buyer or whoever needs it.
I got another thing.
Mhm.
I had an inspector that I've used a couple of times, go out, mostly new builds or whatever.
Mhm.
And didn't take a ladder, it was a unique property, whatever. And in long story short, the roof didn't get inspected with the inspection.
Yep.
Made 2 texts. One roofer, didn't go out. Next roofer on a Sunday morning went out and just at least looked at the roof.
Mhm.
So what's your turnaround, for just special things that?
What she's asking is your phone shut off on Sundays?
No,
Okay.
I'm 20, I turn 29 in January, so. Hey, I don't care what time of day it is. I've done
Okay.
homeowners like, hey, I don't have time. When can we meet? I'm like, dude, I can meet you at 10 o'clock at night. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm young gunner. Yeah, I'm like, hey, like, wait, what you need? I'll stop whatever I'm doing to get it done. That's why my motto is GSD. I just like to get things done. You need it done, I get it done. It's that simple. Yeah. So it's I'm always available 24/7, 7 days a week. I do jobs on Sundays, I do jobs on Saturdays, or whatever it may be. I'm working all the time.
Are you seeing any, with the volume having started, are you seeing any challenges with crew sizing?
No, sir. I have two specific crews that I only use because we built up the loyalty within each other, me being in the industry. I trust them like I trust myself. All right, when it comes down to doing the jobs, this is one of my crews you see on the screen right here. It's Armando's crew. We had about 32 guys on that job, on that roof right there. All right, and you can see the preparation and the mitigation. So when it comes down to workload and work power, I've done 200 square houses at the same time, 36 guys on one and 30 on the other, two different crews. But they're both my crews. You get what I'm saying? So we're never short of firepower. We got everything you need.
Your group had a large crew on the house next door. When they're done, they knocked on my door. They came in my backyard looking for nails,
Yep.
with magnets and everything. They're
Yep.
very, very courteous. And
Yep.
conscientious.
And that's the standard. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. So whatever my standard is, whenever I talk to you, that's going to be the standard that my crews are going to have underneath me. All right. They know how we run jobs and they know how we like things done. Me specifically, I'm big on preparation. I boarding up windows, tarping pools, things of that sort. Look at that. You see that? That's just stuff that you won't typically see. Right. I'm a looks guy. I like things to look good. I know general construction is bad, it's loud, it looks dirty, right? But I do my very best to make sure, especially when it comes down to landscaping and things like that, doing roofs. I stand home, I treat everybody's property like it's mine. I like things to look good. I like them to stay that way. I'm clean. I'm a clean guy. Aesthetics. So just doing things like this, TPing. And here we go a little before and after action here. 1 day jobs always. We knock out these homes in 1 day. We know as the homeowners, you don't want all that stuff going around your house for multiple days. That's why we got numbers and crew to get those things done.
Great.
Yep. Of course, you guys got my contact info that you can forward to everybody. That paper that you guys have in front of you, if you put your phone camera up and like scan that, that'll bring up my link. All right, that's gonna have videos and all the kind of jobs and things that I've done, and my bio contact you can forward to people as well. Any other questions for me?
Yeah, do you only do insurance jobs or do you guys
Do
do
cash
concrete
bids.
jobs as well?
Yep, we do cash bids too.
So I mean, just like if someone's building and they need a quote on putting a roof on.
Yep,
you do that?
we do those as well.
Commercial.
Yep. Commercials too. We got our own commercial department. Brian is our lead commercial guy, so it's good to go there too. We got everything you need underneath the sun. Besides plumbing, we stay away from that.
Yeah, do you do any interior?
Yes, sir. We're actually featured on HGTV. No demo reno. We build houses, demoed it out from the ground up. We got all the firepower. If you guys ever want to watch it on Prime Video, you'll see it. Curly Redhead season 1. That's linear roofing, and that's our GCs doing that whole house. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys.
That's the best roofer presentation I've ever heard.
Thank you. Arkansas Tech University. So it's a 2-time All-American there and got drafted in 17. by the LA Rams, and they got cut short, so here I am in front of you
Hey, you got
guys.
drafted.
Yeah, it was a long process.
That.
We
It's
played
a
on
long
the same
process.
team at the same time.
Yeah, you was my right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it.
Had a class here last month, and a roofer came in and presented to the class that I was in. And then I started questioning about licensing and so, well, you don't have to be licensed in
Yeah.
Texas. I'm like, do you have a license for it? Did you get it?
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't give me a solid answer.
No.
So I'm like, okay, I guess that's no.
Yeah, that's enough, so.
Hard.
There's been a couple come through, and like I said, your presentation was awesome, because I had one come through and she was very short. I mean, she's the one that went out on that Sunday for me, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she just wasn't very good
Presenter.
presenter,
Presented, yeah.
but anyway.
I feel like, look, that was just a short thing, cause I can go on for days about everything, right? It's just that you just gotta know what you're doing. A lot of people are getting these roofing jobs just to door knock and be salesmen. But there are very, very few that actually know what they're doing when it comes down to actually know how to handle people as well as knowing the general construction side of things. So just with the things I've involved myself in, the courses that I've taken personally, it's a lot of good things. Like I said, people benefit from working with me on.
I had a roofer do a commercial building for me. I used to own a hotel in Bill, Colorado,
Mhm.
and it was a $400,000 roof. And it was, had a hydroxybutyl seal factory applied for standing seam.
Yeah.
And the guy crimped it, and he destroyed all of the standing seam, didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I wasn't educated about roofers at the time. I ended up in court with him, and
So,
yeah, and I didn't, it's not my personality, I didn't have any choice.
yeah.
I went through a winter without a roof in Colorado.
That's a lot, yeah, that's a bad deal, especially in Colorado.
But the biggest lesson I learned, this was about, I don't know, 100 feet up high. I wanted to see the seam that had been destroyed myself.
Uh-huh.
So I climbed up the ladder, and I didn't have a safety line, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm up 100 feet, and you have to picture this. Here's a roof and here's a ladder. So I get talking to how the hell do I get on the roof? So I figured out, I just grabbed one of the seams. You all know what a standing seam metal roof is. And I put my feet on there, and I at least I had good shoes. I got on the roof, so I climbed up to the top. I walked the entire roof, saw what I wanted to see, and then it occurred to me, how was I going to get back?
You gonna get that up?
Ladder's fine.
Yeah.
What I actually had to do was hold this, unfortunately, I had strong hands. I held the seam, I had to hang myself down off the roof and
Yeah.
swing over to the
Swing
ladder.
down.
So anyways,
Really though, I had a couple country boy clowns. I like to say I'm from Arkansas, so born and raised, and of course out there we just do things that we feel like it's cool. We just find a way, right? I didn't bring my 2-story ladder, so I really wanted to get on these people's house, right? And I didn't have my drone. My drone had broke, so I couldn't do that. I was like, man, all I had is my telescope ladder, my 12-footer, and I put it on top of the AC unit.
Oh, geez.
And then I pulled it to the first level, pulled it up, and then I pulled the ladder up and put it on second level. And it was like that much space, and I climbed up to the top. That's like, how did you get up there? I was just like, well, yeah, I get it, but yeah, that's the same is pretty difficult. The guns and the heater and the like you said, the collapse of the same thing. You gotta know what you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Then so I had a fire stone, fire and ice rain, whatever. And since they get the roof on that got destroyed.
Yeah.
I didn't replace everything. It was a mess.
Yeah.
Anyways, I learned my lesson.
But yeah, that's a hard money. You had to go to court for that one.
Thanks again,
Thank you.
Demetrius.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. And like I said, feel free to reach out, even if y'all have general questions about anything or see anything, that's skeptical about, any of the properties or anybody else you're working with.
Yeah.
What you do,
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, the information.
Probably call it. I also have my number when I do.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I got you. I got you.
One of our agents, Brittany, is in the middle of a negotiation that involves replacing roof on 3 structures in one of their houses, maybe we should make sure she has his contact information.
Yeah, I'll be right there, I'll make sure
Yeah.
she gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take it.
Oh, look at this.
I like that.
All right, thank you again, appreciate it.
This must be just respectful, right?
Yeah, these are only for the, these are only for the special ones, so can't throw those away. And then that same color that's on that paper is on the back of those, so
You know,
anytime you just scan it, and you wanna show anybody else, just flip it over and scan it.
you and Boo meet at the gym.
We did, whenever I had first kind of started getting into fitness, he saw me, so I was a little baby boy when I went out that food, so he seen the development of me being me over all the years, so. Is we just saw people like you say, you make fun and just don't ever drop. Been treating each other well, we help each other in every way, so.
Good.
Yeah, I'm around with you.
I told him not to leave you out.
Yeah, I'm about to get you better run it. I'll be doing that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I can do mine quick, but kind of sort of.
Yeah, I'll write that again.
Is this the one we're gonna play back while we're gone? Well, we're gone. No, is that what you were gonna do?
I'm just gonna send everybody. No, I decided to do it a little bit different.
Okay.
Thanks.
Wasn't that a good presentation?
Yeah. I know Boo and my family members have been real happy with them. I'm actually re-roofing my own house right now, but I've got a long-standing relationship with a roofer that I'm still gonna have him do it, but I'll probably use these guys for customers. The guy that I work with, when I was in Hawaii, there was a storm, he's up on my roof calling me, telling me about it. I mean, he just takes that kind of care, and yeah, it's kind of hard to beat.
Okay.
All right, what's T-shirt? You get that in Greece?
This t-shirt? Because there's a strong looking man on there. I made this t-shirt a while ago.
That's cool.
Thank you. Eugene Sandow.
That who that is?
Yeah, Jewish, one of the first bodybuilders
Huh.
and powerlifters back in the turn of the
Still recording?
Wow.
Mhm.
Are we still recording?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pre-roid, so this is what you can look like.
I am. Okay, you want to come, you want to take, oh, you can't work in that. Well, we'll wait for everybody. You're gonna want to come around and be in here and then I'll do the 2-finger technique.
Okay.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Sorry, I got a snap.
Hey, thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too. I'll be in contact with you guys.
All right. I already liked your page.
Well, we'll wait.
Okay, your favorite roofer one? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I got just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
In my home, had an inspection done for at 1 year to where it was built.
Mhm.
The inspector noticed that some of the shingles were cut.
Yes, sir.
Apparently, some roofers do the putting right over the top of others and damage.
Yeah, man, that damage, mechanical damages. Yes, sir. It happens.
it.
And even, and be aware, say if you guys got a plumbing guy or somebody, like anytime you got a roofing system, make sure that they got the right proper shoes on, because anytime they're walking on their roof, especially when it gets a little bit hotter outside, a lot of people make the mistake, it gets soft and it's gonna leave all kind of, it'll literally leave an imprint. So whatever shoe they had on, like the granulars, yeah, it gets bad. I don't even climb roofs in certain temperatures in the summer just because it's just so soft.
Well, you couldn't have worked last summer then.
I did, but like I said, I schedule my inspections early morning or late evening, midday. I'm just like, hey, I'll get your info, then I'll just schedule it out.
Yeah,
You just gotta be a little bit smarter about
yeah.
You see the roofers wearing snowshoes that from up north and you know they're the wrong roofer.
My
it.
sister-in-law just had a new bill closed this month and going through our walkthrough, the first walkthrough. There was a whole pack of area of shingles that
Just messed up.
the granules were just gone on and they put them on there. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
So it got done, it was done before, but
Yeah, it's, and then also sometimes you got these smaller companies, of course, cheaper is always better, right, to people, but then you can get recycled shingles. People don't understand that. You can get old shingles from Shingle Lights. And every material order that we deliver has a special code on the back of our shingles. And the homeowner it ties to the homeowner's name and address of what time it was made, what time it was dropped off at the door, and even whenever we put the shingles on, you got all documentation. So this is a cool thing that we got for our shingles too.
I know there was an issue a few years back, I remember where somebody was delivered different batches for the same roof. And then so you had this modeling.
Yeah, discoloration, yeah, it doesn't look good. That's what I'm saying. Different lot dates and different times, you can see that stuff. And you just pray and wait on the hailstorm so you actually get the right people out of here. Because at that point, you just gotta come out of pocket. They already took your money and left.
Well, maybe we'll get it tonight.
We'll see. All I'm gonna say is, hey, cover your cars. Put your cars up because it's supposed to 4 to 8. It's supposed to get a little bit bad. I don't know what area yet. It says central DFW, so we'll see. You know, it always comes in a line. So it's big right now as far as like areas. The whole DFW, but it is smaller now. I don't know if it'll be north, south. I think it's gonna be south because south hasn't had it in a while. North has had it a little bit. I think DeSoto, Cedar Hill, yeah, they're due. I think it's southern is due for it. So that's just based off the charts of what I watch. So we'll see.
Well,
Someone
don't plan
said
on
some-
sleeping tonight, right?
yeah, someone said some weather, whatever, egg size hell, egg.
Hey, that's in teacup size now. So that's all I said. Put your cars up.
Oh, well,
You know?
my truck's too big to go.
Oh, well, then it looks like you'll be having to make an auto climb.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much. Thank y'all. It's very nice to meet you as well.
YouTube.
And like I said,
We
if
will
you guys need
just tab
anything,
up for YouTube also.
Thanks. All right, no problem.
Go through it real quick. This is just homework, I guess, and then we can do our.
Say that one more time.
It is. Oh, I see.
We're gonna just eventually go do Steve.
Yes.
Steve Morris.
Yeah.
Probably I should have brought up exit. Up close.
Yeah, well, we can do exit.
I'll just do up close.
But encourage them to-
He needs to redo that.
It's actually pretty good.
It's excellent, but God.
There you go. There we go.
You want to start with that
Eventually, yeah.
eventually?
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay, do we got everybody who we
She
need?
said, hold on,
Oh. You said, hold on.
other Kim.
Boo's the one that screwed up there. That's your client, right?
Yeah, he told me that.
He probably should have done that, but you don't have an issue with it, but he's been authorized to say that. But I wouldn't have
Because
done
my
that.
buyer said new builds. have-
Go ahead and let it-
Just been recording.
No, I just
He
did.
doesn't, he doesn't know. The only problem you have is if he's speaking out of turn and they won't do that, and you tell your buyer, you might,
Well, I'll ask them.
I'm sorry.
We're recording.
Be safe.
Hey, take care. Okay, okay, okay. Go ahead, Kim.
I'll make it quick. So this month, I did it on the first, I asked somebody to send me the video so I could prepare. So that every Friday, she's gonna give tips of what we do instead of being crammed all into one thing. So this month is still, it's sponsoring. And so there's 3 things for this week that we're gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna just touch on. And then we'll go into the other weeks as they come up, and then I'll post them probably. I don't know, we'll probably post them here and then maybe have y'all post on our new exit thing. But anybody that was here, I'll make sure you have the new weekly tips. Everybody else can just go look on exit. But anyway, so one of the things is there's a couple of videos to go watch. Steve Morris did a video and you can go find it on YouTube, and it's called Up Close and Personal. It's about 30-ish minutes. And it's up close and personal with Exit. And it goes through the it goes through, I mean, he tells how Exit came about with him. So he tells his story. And then he goes through and he talks about some of the sponsoring and stuff. And one of the things that I realized that I don't think we do with our sponsoring, I mean, when you talk to somebody, I know we're not supposed to talk commissions and splits and things like that, but the one thing you can do is you can say you can make over 100% with Exit, and you can go into why. I mean, that's an absolute fact. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to know how you make it more than 100%? You know, because you have 100% companies that are out there, and that's what you make, 100%. When you have this fee and this fee and this fee. So, and remember, Exit doesn't have desk fees. So you have a company that allows you to make over 100%. You don't have desk fees, and you have all of our technology and tools. So that's one thing going into your sponsoring conversations you can have. So last Tuesday night, I went to a networking event, and I have a commercial customer and someone that wants to go into real estate and come to Exit. And it was just a simple 2 different conversations, but one of them was, I said, well, let me give you my mobile business card. I'll show you how to download it and stuff. She's like, this is really cool. Now, I hit how you go into like searching for the houses where in your area. She's like, what's that? And I said, well, these are houses that are in the area right here. Really? I said, yeah. So when you are talking to your clients or whatever, you know, you can say, look, if you download this. So I turned it into, she's already a real estate agent now, and she's doing this. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So she's actually signed up. We're going to be on Jim's 2 Zooms, and it took me 2 minutes just to add value to what she could get. And anyway, so it's kind of cool, but you don't know what people are wanting until you actually have conversations. I've only had a couple of conversations where they're on computer and stuff, but it was face to face, and it just the right moment. So watch the video. We're not going to watch it, but so he goes in and
It's a great video.
but I watched it like 6 times so I could dissect it, and I can go into detail, or just I kind of want you to go watch it, because I could point out everything I took away from it, but I want to see what you take away. So watch the video and then come back in, and I'll post it and say, and then we'll go see what everybody's takeaways were, because I got a whole bunch, but I don't want to really give it away until you go watch it, because it was actually pretty powerful.
Has anyone watched it other than Paul and I and Kim? You watched it?
Yeah, you sent it to me before I joined, so I watched it. About how he originated and why he did what he did.
So I'll stop on that part, but it is really cool, especially when you're watching at 1 o'clock in the morning to make sure you had everything you wanted to talk about down. So that's one thing. And the other thing is on, how do I get back? Does anybody watch any of the Craig Witt stuff that he puts out? Or not watch, but just reads?
With this,
Mhm.
yeah, every week.
I asked one of our agents the other day about it, and they're like, huh, what? Who? I don't remember which one it was.
I'll
So
stay here.
scroll down a little bit.
You just need to go to the Apple side and get used to it.
All right, go back to that thing right there and click to where you see. Okay, so if you want to go find Craig's video, click on the sponsoring 101. That's what we want. And we don't have to watch this either. So anybody watched this one yet?
I probably have, but I don't remember specifically.
So it's also 30 minutes. I just wanted to show you how to get into it, and you can go to a different couple ways, but when you get into your resource center, just scroll down to the right and you'll see a little box, and you can just hit the arrows and it'll take you straight to his videos. Completely different way he talks about Exit than Steve does. One of the things that I did take away from it, so when he first got into Exit, or he was in Exit, he said somebody had a what if button on. And so that prompted him to ask, what is the what if? Was this a thing, or was this just a thing with somebody that he was around in Exit?
I don't know.
You don't know? So anyway, he goes on to talk a little bit else, But then he comes back a little bit and he says, what if I introduce somebody into exit? What if I did this? So you can take it even further. I will tell you a couple of things I did take away from it. You are responsible 100% for you and your business. But with exit, you don't have to be by yourself. So everybody, you are responsible for it. But we have so many people and avenues and technology and stuff to help us out that you don't have to be alone. The other thing he says is it's time to think bigger. And I put think bigger in quotations. How do I build a business that will grow? How do I grow a business that will actually hand down? And with exit, I mean, we can retire and still earn when we're not here, our families can still, so who can actually do that? I mean, we can do retirement. So go back to the 100%. So it doesn't matter what our split is, if you earned, your 100 or not. If you've got 5 people under you doing the same thing you are, you're over your 100%. You're making your kids college, or you're, paying for your vacation home, or you're just giving yourself a bigger nest egg. So that was the one thing I liked, was think bigger, because we can think bigger, not just by yourself, but we can think bigger as an office. Think bigger, meaning let's do things in the evenings to get people back in here to be more part of it. Because I think, when you're looking for the people that you want to bring into exit and stuff, first of all, leverage who you want to bring in, who's going to help you help them and help exit, and however you want to look at help our brokerage. So there was a couple other things. So how do you sponsor and how do you build relationships? Well, relationships I feel are necessary to actually sponsor the person, unless you just accidentally walked into it the other night like I did. But understand the opportunity and be open-minded. Learn the basic exit story, because you can talk all day long about you and this, but what is the basic exit story? Well, you'll get it from those 2 videos. Identify quality people that are willing and able to help you help exit, because there's a lot of people that are willing, but one, are they able? And are they passionate about it?
By way of example, I've had an agent that I have yet to even meet, has been on the roster for about 6-7 months. I'm planning to change that. It's not produced, not something. I guess he was upfront about being part-time, but part-time implies still some effort. There's been no effort. What has that accomplished for me other than liability for the sponsoring agent? No return on that. And this hasn't in any way helped that agent move forward with the real estate career. So, it's like everything else, the 80-20 rule. You should be judicious. You're better off to sponsor 1 or 2 quality people than 15 that never show up. They have to be engaged. I mean, so I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I think it's an important message here.
Right.
So as you talk to these people, find out what they're looking for. They just want a place to hang a shingle. That's not who we want.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
And then help each other grow, and help your sponsor to sponsor, or help your sponsor to sponsor. I mean, I sit up here, I talk all the time about, Al, I talk to Al and I talk to Tom about sponsoring, you've had a couple that have been interested, but have gone other ways. I mean, something's gonna happen, you're gonna get it. But, why wouldn't you want to grow? And so, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't want to, it's not a selling, I'm not selling exit. I'm just sharing my love for it. So find the way if you want to do it. And
Your job is not to recruit, it's to.
No, absolutely. I mean, and it's just a tiny bit just to get them to talk to you, so that is, or, but, I've even had, one talk to Mike before they talked to you, because I think you were either out of the country or something. And then the other thing was, where is I'm at? Ask, how do I improve the lives of others? Because it's not about you. How can I help improve? I love doing this. I love teaching. I love answering your phone calls, Michael's. I do, and I don't know anything compared to these guys. But some of this stuff we can kind of figure out, and other things we always get back, or I call Jim first and then I call you back. But anyway, so I thought that was important. So watch that video, watch his video, and then the other thing, what was my third one?
And it's
Oh.
Bob McKinnon's training class, which is on the book somewhere, isn't it?
23rd.
It's the 23rd.
9 to 12.
So the third thing is, can you get me to our calendar?
We've got 2 of them.
Geez, Kim.
You have homework.
9 to 12. Here, frozen.
Here. I think it's here.
I had a little saying, I don't know where.
Yeah, it's on the calendar.
Big calendar, right? Set the training.
That's a good class, by the way. We did it a couple of years.
Training
ago.
calendar. Okay,
Very
stop there for a second. Please.
Hmm?
All right, so the last thing to do, go back into the resource center and hit training at the top, like the marketing and training. So hit training, he already did that. And then go down to the training calendar. And then, and I've tried to get on here. So every third, it is the Thursday that we do training, but so it would be March 16th.
I can't even see it without.
It's right there.
Okay.
So March 16th, the building residual income, it's 30 minutes. And you can do it by phone or you can do it and do it on Zoom.
This is corporate doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
So Janice Petaway is doing it.
Mhm.
And
And they're all
but
recorded.
listen to her talk. She's awesome also. And so it's gonna be, on residual income, but if you haven't listened to her, like I said, she's awesome. So that's your homework. So if you can get on there for that training, and I think the prior ones we can go back and watch.
Yes, they're all recorded.
But this one, so whether you're on the phone or you're on the actual webinar, you can actually get on and be part of it and talk and role play and, do it, Mike hates doing and, scripting things out.
Okay.
But she's awesome. So that's your homework. And then I have one more little thingy I was gonna say and I can't find it.
While you're looking for it, some of the other things that we're doing as a company, the metrics tracking, the sales management integration. Sponsorship is actually not going to be an unrelated item. We're going to actually track invites and appointments and set individual goals, for, how many agents do you want to sponsor? And Bob's going to give us very meaningful training on how to stimulate that in ways to become a presence, different ideas. And so again, I find, I was going to do a video on this, but I'll just say it. I find that when I can be very specific about something that I'm trying to do, and I know what the target is, it becomes clear to me how to get it accomplished. It doesn't mean I accomplish it necessarily, but at least I know how to start to marshal my energy. So if you say to yourself, I'd like to sponsor your residual income, well, that's great, but what does that mean? But if you actually say to yourself, I really would like to, at least 2 people a week mention exit to, and with the goal of getting a couple of them in every month for interviews. And if you get 2 in for interviews and we hire a third of them, that's 3 to 4 agents a year. And think about it. And so if you're gonna work for the next 5 years, that could be 12 to 15 agents that are contributing to your retirement or whatever, But it's tangible and it's palpable and you can see it and it's very specific. And then if you have that goal in the back of your mind, you can sit here and say to yourself, where am I today? Is this in my plan? I haven't invited anybody. What happens is you turn your radar on. Now you're more aware. Next thing you know, you're standing in Tom Thumb at the deli counter and the guy says, yeah, I'm bored here. I really want a different career. Well, have you thought about real estate? Boom. That's kind of how it happens. Or you've got somebody delivering from Jimmy John's, right? And Mr. Price here. That's how that happened.
That's how I connected with Paul. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah. But you have a very specific goal. It's not just knowing isn't doing, and anyways, Jim will talk to you about that. The KDNA technology is going to all be using that stuff. So I think we'll all get better at it, more effective at it. And
Well, we'll certainly track it. Whether we get better is another thing.
we'll get better. Whatever you're focused on grows.
Yeah.
It's a truism. It just works that way.
Yeah.
It will make it more visible.
Well, could I ask, as far as sponsoring goes for you, you've been with Exit for how long?
I bought the first franchise in 2015.
Okay, so eight years, so 7 to 8 years. And your residual income, do you track it?
I
Because
guess
some people don't. I mean, they don't even look at it. They just,
I track because I do one on tax returns, so I know exactly what it is every year. And it has been as high as 100,000, and it has been as low as 30,000 with people coming and going. This week I received $8,000 in residual payments this week. It doesn't always happen though.
no,
But that's a lot of that's because of Boo. Boo's a $10,000 annuity for me. And is generally paid in the first 60 days of the year. But you know, that's why it depends on who it is that you sponsor. But I go out of my way not to compete with you all for sponsoring. I mean, like even Jim, you turn smart over there and I share it or whatever we do. So my goal is to help you all do it, but it's been helpful. It's helped me pay some of the operating bills here.
so it's true what it can do. So we just have to work on it.
But maybe to answer your question, I'm sure if I added up 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 27 years, I'm sure there's probably 250,000 of the residuals there somewhere.
So think what you could do with that money. Think about it. And all you have to do is drive my wife crazy with every time we go to a restaurant, if it's a good waiter, he's hearing the exit story before I'm ready. You know,
I do that all the time.
drives me
They have a good
nuts.
personality.
She said, you're gonna do it, aren't you? You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
It's so simple. It says, you have a great personality. Have you thought about selling real estate? That's all I
That's
say.
what I told her the other night.
That being said, your best targets if somebody's been in the business for less than 2 years, is making probably less than $30,000 a year, but they're still at it, which tells you something. The ones that wash out in 6 months, that's a different story. But somebody that's still trying and they're not getting it, more than likely, they're either not getting the right training, supervision, or the right environment. It could be them, but there's an opportunity to find out.
Yeah.
Those are somebody we could really help. We can help anybody, but you know.
Well, I was talking to Bob and he was talking about top producers and things like that. Well, I actually met someone who wanted to talk, and that was the one who had talked to Mike. She's with Jay Parr, so she was all hung up on the percentage thing. It only cost me 2% or only whatever it was. I've lost, she's texted me a couple of times, but she's just not interested because I don't know. She either didn't get the conversation, and Mike talked to her.
What was your first name?
I have to go look it back up.
She was on one of my Zoom calls. Jay Parr was on one of my.
Oh, yeah.
calls. What was her?
I'll go back into my notes and stuff, but whatever she didn't get out of the conversation, or I don't know, but anyway, so top producers were supposed to go to you. That was one of Craig's thing about that, is like, go to your broker, have your broker help you. But anyway,
The simple response in that,
Jim, we can stop.
because I think everybody says, well, you can make more than 100%. Number one, most people don't believe you. They don't believe it because they don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. How could you possibly do that? How could you be in business? So I don't say you can make more 100%. I said I can show you how to make more money at Exit than you presently make.
Correct.
And they'll say, how do you do that? I said 3 different ways. I'll show you how to make more in your own production. I'll show you how to build a passive income that will more than offset the fees that you're paying. And it says, and then I'll teach you how to invest in real estate. Are you interested?
Work can be done.
And that's what I did with Anthony, who joined, and he was Boo's invitee or sponsor. And,
He's gonna be a firecracker too.
Well,
To go into the grants.
that's all I have.
Okay.
So you just have 3
Thanks,
things to
Jim.
do for homework.
Yeah.
We can
Jim,
stop the
when you
recording.
get a chance, would you give me an update on Brandon? Because I have no idea where he is. You
Um,
don't do it here in the audience, but we can talk, but is he still playing it is?
Thanks a lot, everybody. It's really been nice talking to you. I hope you, okay, see you later. Okay.
We don't see him in training, so we don't see that
Yeah.
person.
He works from 6 to.
Can you stop?
Just have him get with Jim and talk about it, because maybe we can design.
He was working.
It kind of shuts when I turn it off.
He was working on.